So, yesterday gave us one of those mixed but pretty interesting market sessions, and we need to talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, December 4th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. Yesterday, U.S. stocks inched higher as a surprising drop in private sector hiring showed more cracks in the labor market, which in turn boosted expectations for a rate cut from the Federal Reserve next week. The Dow added almost 1%, or a little over 400 points, the Standard & Poor's 500 was up about 0.3%, and the Nasdaq Composite climbed roughly 0.2%. All of this came after all three major indices closed higher the day before. The big headline was the Private Sector Jobs Report. It showed that employers cut 32,000 jobs in November, even though experts were expecting a small gain. Almost 90% of the market is now betting on a quarter-point cut next week. According to the report, the weakness came mostly from small businesses, which really pulled back. We also got fresh data on services activity. The index from the Institute for Supply Management ticked up slightly in November to 52.6. While the measure for prices paid fell to a 7-month low. That is a good sign for inflation. And remember, the next big inflation update, the PCE report, comes out tomorrow, and it's still catching up from September. In crypto, Bitcoin kept trying to recover from its long slump. It briefly jumped above $93,000 yesterday, which is a 2-week high, before giving back part of the move. Tech had a tough morning after a report suggested that one large software company lowered its AI sales quotas. That pushed its stock down about 2.5% and sparked fresh doubts about AI demand. Semiconductor names followed the move lower, including some of the usual leaders. On the earnings front, Marvell Technology jumped nearly 8% after offering a strong sales outlook and announcing a deal to buy Celestial AI. And American Eagle Outfitters surged about 15% thanks to a solid start to the holiday shopping season. And after the bell yesterday, we got earnings from Salesforce. Revenue for the third quarter came in at $10.3 billion, up about 9.5% from a year earlier. Net income surged 40% to $2.1 billion, and diluted earnings per share reached $2.19. The company also raised full-year revenue guidance and highlighted rapid adoption of its new AI products, which together hit nearly $1.4 billion in annual recurring revenue. Shares popped around 8% in after-hours trading. Alright, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.